It's a packed year of games, and while many draw attention for their narratives, premises, and unique gameplay mechanics, graphics are also an essential factor. Call the pursuit of photorealism a fruitless endeavor, but some of the worlds and settings that these upcoming games showcase with the power of contemporary game engines are hard to ignore. Check out 30 of the most graphically intensive games launching in 2025. Grand Theft Auto 6. Forget a new trailer, a higher quality version of this first is all the reminder we need that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be one of the more stunning titles of the year. Whether it's the NPC variety and detail, down to the skin textures, or the gorgeous lighting adorning Vice City's sky, Rockstar is cooking up a visual feast for fall 2025. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Last minute delays hurt, but in the case of Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's all for the better. We glimpsed some of the late Sengoku era environments with detailed foliage and realistic NPCs, but more recent gameplay bits offer fluid animation and genuinely intriguing combat. More extensive gameplay from the latest build is required for going in depth, but for now, it may very well be 2025's most impressive looking open world before launching on February 14th. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. Kingdom Come: Deliverance did some truly mind-boggling things with CryEngine despite fewer resources at the time. The sequel is shaping up to be even more detailed, recreating all the intricacies of 15th century Bohemia while adding the series' signature medieval gameplay. It's ambitious to be sure, especially with the increased world reactivity and more detailed NPCs, but it may easily surpass the original. Pioneer. Based on first impressions, GFA Games is attempting to take the survival sandbox gameplay of Stalker into the MMORPG space. It certainly looks the part, at least visually speaking, with twisted landscapes and sharp textures throughout, especially when observing the weapons. While the jury is out on whether it can support such an ambitious experience, that too on such a large map with numerous players does remain to be seen, but it looks great. Monster Hunter Wilds. The open beta looked kind of rough, but there's no denying that Monster Hunter Wilds has the potential to look fantastic. It's all in the realistic herds shuffling across the plains, fur bristling, or the dynamic weather changes morphing the biomes. Thankfully, recent previews indicate that overall visual quality is on track for its launch on February 28th. Hell is Us. Rogue Factor's Hell is Us is a difficult title to really pin down aesthetically. Alongside realistic environments with detailed greenery, water, and skies, there are supernatural dungeons and phenomena that push the limits of the surreal. It's an elegant mix which sometimes calls Death Stranding to mind, though with hack and slash focused combat, and it's definitely exciting. Atomfall. Creating an original post-apocalyptic setting, especially following a nuclear disaster, isn't easy without sneaking a few notes of Fallout. However, Rebellion's Atomfall achieves it well, from the glowing mutants roaming the abandoned Bard labs to the detailed foliage where various cults have taken up residence. It's out on March 27th for consoles and PC, so it won't be long before we dive into the moody scenery ourselves. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Considering the series' HD remasters and the last major remake, it's intriguing to see Konami approaching Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater with so much care. Unreal Engine 5 is leveraged to deliver photorealistic foliage, lighting, shadows, and more. Characters are also revamped from top to bottom with incredible nuance and detail. It looks and feels like a truly next-gen version of the 2004 classic. Chronos: The New Dawn. Following the success of Silent Hill 2 Remake, Bloober Team's next foray into horror opts for a sci-fi post-apocalyptic setting with some time traveling. Based on the images and brief footage thus far, Chronos: The New Dawn melds nightmarish landscapes and creatures with exceptional lighting, shadows, and particle effects. The Alters. 11-Bit Studios is no stranger to imaginative survival scenarios that tread a fine line between the fantastic and brutally realistic, and The Alters is no exception. While the premise of Jandolski enlisting his alternate selves to run a moving base and outrun a hostile sun is intriguing, the perspective is much tighter and more personal. It offers a unique perspective backed by incredible facial expressions and models, while the surrounding environments are supported by gorgeously eerie textures. Where Winds Meet. While it's not quite on the level of Black Myth Wukong, Everstone Studios' Where Winds Meet still looks promising with its graphical quality. The gameplay draws more than a few comparisons to Wo Long Fallen Dynasty and looks fast and fluid. The open world is no slouch either, presenting a smattering of unique environments without looking too busy. Crimson Desert. Leave it to Pearl Abyss, developer of one of the best looking MMOs of all time in Black Desert, to showcase one of the more stunning open worlds in the form of Crimson Desert. Thus far, everything we've seen has looked magnificent, from the draw distance and environmental details to the animation work, effects, and skyboxes. It's almost too good to be true at times, but with a launch later this year, we'll finally experience its incredible visuals firsthand. Directive 8020. Supermassive had it rough with the casting of Frank Stone, where its usually detailed visuals feel short due to the overall presentation. Based on footage thus far, Directive 8020 looks graphically superior from its character models, including Lashana Lynch, who plays Young, to the alien vegetation and atmospheric lighting. It's out this year, and thus far we're digging the Thing-like ambiance. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Ultra-realistic characters, flawless animations, incredible cutscenes, and of course, imaginative environments. Even without extended gameplay showcases, Death Stranding 2 on the beach looks like another milestone title for Kojima Productions. Sure, yeah, the weirdness quotient is off the charts, cats made of tar, doll man, whatever is going on with Higgs, but it will be a bizarre odyssey in Decima like none other. Ghost of Yotei. How Sucker Punch could improve on the incredible level of detail in Ghost of Tsushima is anyone's guess. However, it certainly surpassed expectations with Ghost of Yotei, as 1603 Hokkaido looks utterly jaw-dropping. We're keen to see more, but thus far the sheer majesty of its setting offers pause. Elden Ring Night Rain. With Elden Ring already standing out for its visual prowess this generation, it stands to reason that Night Rain should as well. And even if Limveld offers a little too much deja vu or certain bosses bear too close of a resemblance to other From Software threats, Elden Ring Night Rain is still one of the better looking multiplayer games coming this year. Killing Floor 3. Tripwire Interactive has always gone above and beyond with the sheer goriness and fidelity of the Killing Floor series, and Killing Floor 3 may well be its magnum opus. The Zeds look more terrifyingly detailed than before, and die in as many visually resplendent, read messy, ways thanks to the Meat system. Launching this March for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC, the fast and frenetic action should have fans coming back for more. Arc Raiders. It's been a long wait for Arc Raiders, Embark Studios' PvE shooter turned PvE VP extraction title, set on the post-apocalyptic surface of Earth. There's a retro futuristic vibe from the latest gameplay trailer, and while its gameplay still requires extensive hands-on time, the environmental fidelity is hard to deny. Fable. Rumors of its Witcher-like combat have circulated, and the last trailer has offered up some fantastic-looking cities and NPCs. Everything from the lighting and foliage detail to the facial expressions during dialogues and creature designs all look great. The only downside? We want to see more, ideally sooner rather than later. Doom: The Dark Ages. If the gameplay showcase thus far hasn't convinced you, then sneak a peek at Doom: The Dark Ages from CES 2025. The environments are all mind-bogglingly detailed, as path tracing is used to bring them to life with even more fidelity, at least on PC. How much this will all matter when you're shredding through hordes of demons does remain to be seen, but id Software is sparing no expense to ensure its latest Doom looks amazing. Dying Light: The Beast. Techland appears to be going back to the roots of the Dying Light series with The Beast, embracing a more survival horror approach while maintaining the parkour and combat. Kyle Crane's return, alongside vehicles and riskier nighttime excursions, is backed by some great lighting and animations. Hopefully it's the shot in the arm that the franchise needs. Marvel 1943: Rise of Hydra. Though Skydance New Media has remained fairly mum on Marvel 1943: Rise of Hydra, the brief snippets of gameplay have portrayed World War II-era France with startling realism. However, the real highlight of its story trailer from last year's the facial expressions, with characters like Gabriel Jones, Azuri, Steve Rogers, and Nanali looking outstanding. It's out this year, but we're overdue for some more extended gameplay. The Sinking City 2. Frogwares' The Sinking City had its share of issues at launch, yes, but the art direction and sheer potential were definitely hard to deny. The Sinking City 2 is upping the fidelity when it launches this year for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC, leveraging Unreal Engine 5 and technologies like MetaHuman, Nanite, and Lumen GI to develop a true Lovecraftian nightmare. Assetto Corsa Evo. Boasting a new DirectX 12 engine with realistic weather simulation, dynamic global illumination, volumetric fog, reflections, and whatnot, Assetto Corsa Evo promises to go beyond its predecessors in terms of immersion. It's launching into early access to start, but thus far the tracks and vehicles showcased look very sharp. Mafia: The Old Country. While Unreal Engine 5 finds its uses across a variety of genres, it's also resulting in more lifelike and believable visuals for titles like Mafia: The Old Country, per director Alex Cox. The engine enables all kinds of stunning techniques, from seamlessly transitioning into cinematics, or allowing the player to explore highly detailed narrative scenes during gameplay. Thus far, the results speak for themselves, showcasing 1900s Sicily and the series' crime-focused gameplay like never before. The first Berserker Kazan. Of course, there are still some developers leaning on Unreal Engine 4, like Neeple with the first Berserker Kazan. Boasting cel-shaded environments and characters, the fidelity is still incredible here, whether trudging through snowy landscapes or exploring shadowy ruins. The fact that it runs at a rock-solid frame rate ahead of its launch on March 27th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC makes it all the more enticing. Lost Soul Aside. After all these years of development and delays later, Altazero Games' hack-and-slash action-adventure looks set to finally release this year for PS5 and PC. Even if it doesn't ultimately live up to the hype, the visual fidelity, animation quality, and aesthetics still look fantastic, especially considering it's running on Unreal Engine 4. Suffice it to say that we can't wait to see what epic set pieces and boss fights await. Eternal Strands. Eternal Strands from Yellow Brick Games once again showcases the versatility of Unreal Engine 5, especially when it comes to a fantasy adventure. The towering bosses are enticing on their own, but it's the environments, which balance the animated with the realistic and gorgeous rendition of effects like fire that really sell it here. Eternal Strands arrives on January 28th for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC, and we're definitely excited to see how its premises pan out. Exekiller. Described as a retro-futuristic western with an alternate timeline in a post-apocalyptic future, Paradark's Exekiller looks surprisingly well put together for a relatively unknown quantity. The environments, especially on the outskirts, definitely call the likes of Blade Runner 2049 to mind. With factions, choice-based gameplay, and various endings to look forward to, it's offering more than your average good-looking sci-fi title. Borderlands 4. Underwhelming Vault Hunter designs aside, we may just buy into the hype of Borderlands 4 being the series at its most ambitious. The planet of Kairos is teeming with imaginative locations boasting incredible lighting and shadows, while enemy designs push the series' cel-shaded sci-fi aesthetic to the limit. It's all distinctly Borderlands, which is great. Hopefully it runs better at launch than Borderlands 3. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. We upload every day and would really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.